Hello. We are here Friday afternoon, first edition of Fancy Friday. I wore my fancy sweatshirt, my little bedazzle here. I'm here to correct the second portion of the Unit 1 buckle down. So questions 18 through 34. Hopefully you viewed the first video that I said yesterday that corrected 1 through 17. So here we are to correct the second half. So on question number 18, it was division. You were dividing 878 by 11. This again, remember from chapter 1, we had remainders. So it ends up giving you 79 remainder 9 as an answer. In question number 19, write an integer that is represented by the bold words. If the temperature dropped 17 degrees, that would be a negative 17. That's what you should be writing. Number 20, the value of absolute value of 0 is 0. Number 21, the opposite of negative 25 is 25, positive 25. So you could have just 25. You could put the positive symbol in front of it, whichever. Number 24 asks, after pulling into a spot, she backs up 2 feet. Write an expression with an absolute value to show the distance. So that would be absolute value of negative 2. So it would be written inside of the absolute value bars. Okay, shoot the video, bud. In number 23, it says that Wanda meets her friend Jackie every 8 days. She meets Audrey every 6 days. When will she meet them both on the same day? So this is an LCM question. It doesn't say LCM, but that's the skill that we're looking at. So basically you're finding the LCM of 6 and 8. So if we think about how we use the prime factorization to help, we'd break this down into 2 and 3. 8 breaks down to 2 and 4 and 2 and 2. We want to see what they have in common first. So they have a 2 in common. We're going to list it. And then all of these are leftovers. The 3, the 2, and the 2. Remember, we can't partner these up. They're from the same tree. So we would have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, which ends up giving you an answer of 24. They will meet in 24 days, or they will meet every 24 days. That's when it will overlap. Okay, so in question number 24, it gives you the area of 1/8, and it gives you, the length, and you are trying to find the missing width. So we know that area equals length times width. Here we are given the area, and we are given one of the dimensions. So what we want to do is we want to divide the area 1/8 by one of the dimensions of 3/4. So really what we end up doing is multiplying 1/8 times the reciprocal 4/3. I'm going to choose to cross reduce here, and what I end up with is 1/6 kilometers as my missing dimension, as my missing width. Okay. In question number 25, it was just a subtraction problem. You would have ended up with 3.96. In number 26, it's a division problem. Remember, when it's written left to right like that, the 998 is going on the inside. It's what comes first. Again, chapter 1 had remainders, so you would have had 31 remainder 6 is your answer. Number 27, the GCF of 1 and 10. It's the not so greatest common factor of 1. 1 is a factor of all numbers. In number 28, I really struggle with explaining this one to you guys. I'm so sorry. It says that she's already collected 1/4 of a gallon, 1/4 of a gallon. She wants to fill her jar, which holds 3/10 of a gallon. So even just using some of that number sense that we talked about in number 9 yesterday, it's pretty full. So your fraction that you should be getting should be something that's almost whole. The answer to this one is 5/6. Again, I approached this using percentages. I was thinking, okay, 1/4, which is what she has already filled. 1/4 is what percentage of 3/10? This is the way I approached it. So I started saying, okay, this is 0.25 is, we don't know what it is, what percent, that's what we're trying to figure out. Of 3/10, I just converted that into 0.3. So I know that I'm going to end up having, oh, that looks bad, 0.3 times x. So what I ended up doing here, solving algebraically, I was dividing like this, okay? So for me, this made more sense was to do it this way, but if we think about this, the 0.25, the 1/4, is being divided by the 0.3, the 3/10. So if we go back to the original format of the fractions, you would have had I need new markers, 1/4 divided by 3/10. 1/4 times 10 over 3. Yes, so then we end up with 10 over 12, which then reduces to 5/6. So 5/6 is the answer for that one. Again, I think that this one was the trickiest of today's assignment, and that model optional. I didn't use it. Question number 29, just find the product. You have to do that multiplication. Not a lot of space there. You probably wanted to rewrite on lined paper. Really remembering that you need to move that decimal 4 different spots once you've done all your math. You do end up with some zeros at the end for 6.4100. Okay, these can get dropped if you want. They don't matter. So if you have 46.4100, that's right. If you have 46.41, that's right too. Okay. Question 30. Murray needs to spend 700 hours on a project. If he spends 20 hours a week, that's a division problem. You should be taking your 700 hours a week divided by, the 700 total hours divided by the 20 hours a week to get 35 weeks as your answer. Question number 31 is very similar to that question 24, where the area is given to you, one of the dimensions is given to you, you have to find the missing dimension. The difference with this question is that the numbers are bigger. So you've got 21, oh my goodness, 21 and 1/8 being divided by, that's the area, being divided by the given dimension of 3 and 1/4. Okay? So these would need to get converted into improper fractions. You'd get 169 over 8. This one would give you 13 over 4, but you're actually going to have to use the reciprocal, so we'd have 4 over 13. Thank goodness these do cross-reduce. You might not have realized that, but they do. 13 goes into 13 once, 13 goes into 169 13 times. 4 goes in once, 4 goes in twice. What I end up with is 13 over 2, which is 16 and 1/2 yards. That's the missing dimension. Remember, you can always rewind, you can always pause. I know I'm going kind of fast. Looking at number 32, write the following statement using the inequality symbols. 5 yards is less than 8 yards, so you would have 5 yards is less than 8 yards as your answer. How did you know to interpret it this way? The less than is your signal of how to put it. Question number 33, there were 3 parts to it. In part A, 8 granola bars. So basically you're taking the 89-cent granola bar according to the table and you are multiplying it by 8 to get an answer of $7.12. That's your answer for part A. Part B, the hikers add an additional juice and water. So the juice would have been 173, the water would have been 115. You'd add that to the already 8 granola bars to get an answer of $10 for part B. Part C, it talks about a sales tax rate of 0.06. That is a 6% sales tax. It's very similar to what we have in Massachusetts. And what you would do here is you take that 6% here and you'd multiply it by the $10 they spent to get a 60-cent charge. Okay, 60 cents would be added to the $10 of the stuff they bought. So your real total would be $10.60. Explain how you found your answer. Well, $6, 6%, 6 cents. This is 6 cents per dollar spent. So because there were $10 spent, it's 60 cents. Hopefully that makes sense. Ha ha ha, cents, get it? All right. And our last question, number 34, coordinate grid. What are the coordinates of point D? Point D is up in quadrant 2 up here. So you would have -7, +2 as your ordered pair. Part B says that point E has the same coordinates, except the y coordinate is the opposite sign. So what's the ordered pair of point E? And that would be -7, -2. And how we know that is the y coordinate is always your second number in an ordered pair. It always goes x followed by y. So like I've always said in these videos, go back and rewind, pause, whatever you need. I did have some people emailing me specific questions about problems yesterday. I encourage you to do that. Hopefully this is a pretty good process. I know I'm hearing from a lot of you. I really miss being in front of you, teaching you in real time. This is kind of strange for me, sitting in my kitchen, being Fancy Friday, talking to a computer. But we're just all trying our best here. So I hope you have a great weekend, and email me with any questions, and we'll be in touch on Monday morning with next week's assignment. Have a good one.